All right, the last topic for trig is angles of elevation and angles of depression. An angle of elevation is when you are a person and you are looking up to an object. The angle of elevation is formed by an observer's line of sight, that's the hypotenuse, and the horizontal line, which is either ground or just this. So it's this angle right here. Knowing that this is the angle of elevation, we can then set up our right triangle, figure out which trig function that we're going to use, and then solve. All right, so the first one says Casey sights the top of an 84-foot tall lighthouse at an angle of elevation of 58 degrees. If Casey is 6 feet tall, how far is he standing from the base of the lighthouse? All right, so here's my sketch of the lighthouse. I know that it's 84 feet tall. I know that Casey is 6 feet tall. His line of sight is from his eyeballs. Here's my horizontal distance. And then I'm just going to plug in what they tell us. They said that the angle of elevation is 58, so that's going to go here, down here in the bottom. It says that we're looking for how far he is from the base of the lighthouse, so here's my X. This is what's going to change. I can't put 84 here because 84 is going to be from the top to the ground, and we have to account for the 6 foot tall Casey. So I need to subtract that 6 from that 84, and that's where this 78 comes from. Once I have my sides labeled, I'm going to circle my angle, draw my arrow. Here's my opposite. Of course, here's my hypotenuse, and then this is my adjacent. So I have O and A. Hopefully by now you know O and A stands for tangent. So tangent of 58 is equal to opposite over adjacent. Again, the x is in the denominator. These two switch, and I'm going to divide. 78 divided by the tangent of 58 is going to give me 48.7 feet. Again, anytime we're using trig at this point, you need to make sure you're in degree mode in your calculator. All right, example 2. It says the angle of elevation from a kicker's foot on the football field to the top of the goalpost bars is 17 degrees. All right, so I've already drawn my right triangle. Here's my angle of elevation of 17. If the kicker is standing 131 feet from the base of the goalpost, all right, so that would be the horizontal distance. How tall is the goalpost? So that's going to be here. Again, circle my angle. This is my opposite. Here's my hypotenuse, so this is adjacent. Again, this is going to be tangent. So tangent of my angle 17 is equal to opposite over adjacent. 131 is in the denominator, so I need to multiply this time. So 131 times the tangent of 17 gives me a measure of 40.1 feet. All right, you guys are going to try 3 and 4. And then now we're going to look at angle of depression. All right, angle of depression is when you are looking down to an object. The angle of depression is formed by the observer's line of sight and a horizontal line. That angle of depression is going to be right here. The angle of depression is congruent to the angle of elevation because they are alternate interior angles with parallel lines. So if they tell us my angle of depression, I know that it is here, but in my triangle that I draw is going to also be that angle of elevation down in the bottom corner. So whatever goes here is also going to go here. So this same lifeguard, a lifeguard is sitting on a platform looking down at a swimmer in the water. If the lifeguard's line of sight is 8 feet above the ground, and the angle of depression to the swimmer is 18 degrees, so that angle of depression is going to become my angle of elevation. How far away is the swimmer from the lifeguard? So we're looking for how far away that they are. Again, circle my angle, draw across. There's opposite, my hypotenuse, adjacent. Again, we have tangent. Tangent of my angle is equal to opposite over adjacent. We're going to divide this time because x is in the denominator. 8 divided by the tangent of 18 is going to give me 24.6. And then the last example together. A pilot in a helicopter spots a landing pad below. If the angle of depression is 73 degrees, and the horizontal distance to the pad is 1200, what is the altitude of the helicopter? Altitude is just a fancy word for height. So we're actually looking for this side this time. Here's my horizontal distance. That angle of depression becomes my angle of elevation. So I have opposite and adjacent. So again, we have tangent of 73 is equal to opposite over adjacent. We're going to multiply and get 3,925 feet.